ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3. 10 seconds in, no one's here. Did I accidentally put it on as unlisted again? Wow. Hello, everyone. Whoa, so many people showed up all of a sudden. Happy Halloween, guys. How are you all? Oh, did people watch the episode? What did they think? How do they feel? I know, apparently, we once again had an issue with the watch order. I don't know why what I'm using is so off from Disney Plus, but I do feel like this makes more sense because almost every finale is a two-parter. It doesn't make sense to do the finale and then the boat episode. So it is what it is. Oh, shit. Can you guys hear my AC? Probably. Let me turn my AC off. I'll be back in a second. Oh, I was so curious why you could hear or why I was not hot. Watch orders for shows are all over the place, especially with release dates. Truly, I think they aired X-Men Evolution whenever they felt like it. The episode was so good. Happy Halloween, X-Men guy. Happy Halloween to you, my friend. Oh, why don't I have any color? I feel like I'm so washed out right now on this camera. I gotta get a new camera. I appreciate how much you guys have stuck around for these videos, despite my camera quality looking like kind of butt. I recognize my calculus class is just what I can remember after sleeping for 15 hours straight. I don't understand that, but good for you knowing calculus. Well, the next video will be a single episode special. It will. It's just the X23 episode. It's up on Patreon right now. It's still 17 minutes. We got a good amount of content. But yes, the next episode is just X23. After that is the finale. I've not even started editing that. Is it Nikhil Man or Super Nikhil? It's definitely Nikhil Man. You can tell because if you sort of take this symbol and rotate it and then flip it, it kind of looks like an N. We're here for your personality and jokes, not the camera quality. Well, that genuinely means the world to me. Thank you very much. But I'm still going to hopefully get a better camera soon. Just finished today's episode. Loved the angel bullying. Thank you. I thought more people were going to be mad about the angel bullying. But the internet has taken to my dislike of the bird. Come on, Nikki, give me a hickey. Oh, I don't know why I read that out loud. No. What's everyone doing for Halloween today? Anyone got big fun plans? I love X23. She's my favorite mutant. She's very fun, and it's nice to see where she came from. I don't think anyone can hate on Angel enough. He's just not interesting to me. Beak is nice because Beak is ugly, and I really do think that's a significant component. Therapy, working. If you were Apocalypse, who would be your 4 horsemen? That's a good question. I'll tell you what. He never had a better famine than the first one. Or a better pestilence than the first one. Plague deserves to be pestilence. No one else made any goddamn sense. Actually, all of the other horsemen don't make any goddamn sense. But I would want it to be themed. So who do we have? I feel like you take someone like Elixir or Wither and you make them pestilence, you know? Actually, we'll go ahead and go Wither for pestilence. That seems like a layup. Who could be famine? Who makes people hungry? We'll come back to that. Death powers. Someone who famously died. It's kind of a rub because now he's just Apocalypse. But Cypher, I think, could have been a fun death because he famously died. So we're gonna do Cypher for death. We're gonna do Wither for pestilence. War can be anyone who's got fighty powers. Wolverine is fine. Yeah, I just need someone who makes people hungry. You know what? Maggot, because his intestines are bugs. He doesn't make people hungry, but it is a hunger-based power, and that is something. Mr. Immortal being death could be fun. Warpath is war also works. I like that. You guys are thinking. You guys are thinking. Death could be his. Oh, actually, you know what? Thunderbird as death, not Cypher. That makes more sense from an Apocalypse point of view as well. Thunderbird is death. Marvel would make Gwen Stacy the Death Horseman, to be honest. I mean, they never have. Jean Grey could be Death. I don't think Jean could be a Horseman. I don't know enough characters to have an opinion. It's okay. It's any 4 X-Men you want. Hungry, who is the cook of the X-Men? There is an X-Man named Saucier or something that is introduced on Krakoa that's just like a chef. Calling him an X-Man is a little bit of a stretch, but he's a mutant. I'm gonna Google him. Saucier X-Men. Yeah, he looks like this. He's a chef. Saucier is a professional chef described by Magneto as the mutant miracle of cooking. He resided in the White Palace on Krakoa in order to provide professional services to the White Queen. Any Krakoan that had a job is so fascinating to me. Like, did Saucier need to work for Emma? Are there bills? Famously, no. So, what was it, just for the love of the game? Could anyone hire him? Was he specifically contracted to Emma? Did he just want to live in the palace? Similarly, Blob worked as a bartender. Someone needed to be the bartender, I guess. But, like, why him? I wonder what Sidorak would do if Juggernaut was made a horseman. Probably be fine with it. Yeah, Sidorak and Juggernaut are not, like, especially close individuals. I feel like he wouldn't mind Apocalypse making him a horseman. Why couldn't Jean be a horseman? Jean just seems too powerful for that to me. I feel like that would be a big get for Apocalypse. If you could beat Apocalypse already, I feel like you can't be a horseman, you know? Like, people forget the original Horsemen, and not like in lore, because those are his children, but like the original Horsemen we see are the people who died or came close to dying in the Mutant Massacre. So it's like 3 Morlocks and Angel. And I think that's much more Apocalypse to me, is he takes people that he can manipulate and turn into horsemen. Putting 100% more thought into the Horseman than Apocalypse does. This is also true. He kind of just, what I do like about Apocalypse's Horseman is he really loves to try and force the theme, because it's usually 4 random people that he found, and then he's like, I'll figure it out. It'll somehow be the correct thing. Like, famously, when Sunfire became a horseman, he was Famine, and the idea was that light makes you hungry, which I do think is like vaguely true. Like, that is like a concept in the world, but that was the whole plan, is he made fire, and fire makes light, and light makes you hungry. And that, so he's Famine. And Savanora picks based on vibes, truly. Why weren't the other live videos posted? They're all unlisted, because there's, the way it was explained to me, and I've never actually checked if this works, is you should be able to see the playlist, and then through the playlist see the live videos. But I don't really need these live videos to like exist beyond me, and I don't want them crowding up my channel. So they're all in there. Boo boo doo boo doo boo boo boo. Superhero movies need to start having minor villains show up at the beginning to show that they stop other villains than just the big bads. Spider-Man 2, famously, with the Rhino. They did that. Superman with the Hammer of Baravia. Not fire can burn crops? No, because that would have made sense. And so they didn't do that. How would you feel about a Marvel and Mortal Kombat project? I'd like it, but I feel like it should be like Street Fighter. Actually, isn't it? Isn't that what Capcom is? Because Mortal Kombat is DC, and I feel like you can't have them both be Mortal Kombat. It still says you have a different live scheduled. I was waiting there until I saw you were here. Oh. I don't know what that's about. Probably YouTube just fucking up. I hate trying to spell Apocalypse. Autocorrect my beloved. Well, luckily he just went by A until recently, so just call him A. Aren't TMNT in both DC and Marvel? Yeah, but like, you know what I mean. Everyone, for just branding purposes, they should have their own little thing. X-Men became versus Street Fighter became Marvel versus Capcom. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Sun exposure without rain creates desolate landscapes where crops can't grow. Source: the Mad Max movies. I believe you. Have you tried Dispatch? I have not. Pretty Little Liars, but A is Apocalypse. It's there for the taking if anyone wants it. Pulling the old bait and switch on us, huh? Scheduling one after show, then starting an entirely separate one. Okay, I don't know what. Anyone who's in the other after show, I'm sorry, because this is the after show. I don't know why the other one exists. I think you would love Dispatch. Can you even play that on Mac? Let's see. Can you feel the love tonight? You can play Dispatch on Macs by using Windows capability. Nope. Then no. I used Crossover once for a friend's birthday, and it fried my computer so bad I had to spend several $100s to get it fixed, and it still never really worked right again. It has been a huge issue for editing. So, rip. I'll never play Dispatch. Sucks to suck. Will you react to a DC show next? Yes. Next we're doing Teen Titans and Wolverine the X-Men. Mondays will be Wolverine the X-Men, and Fridays will be Teen Titans. And what was I going to say? Oh, but in between, we're going to do some fun little one-offs. The company that makes the Mortal Kombat games wants to make a Marvel versus DC fighting game. That would be fun. If you like Evolution vibes, you might like Power Rangers comics. I'll get into them one day. Punisher as War, then Scorpion as Pestilence, Deadpool as Death, and Morbius as Famine. So if you hate mutants, just say that, chili dog. Just say that you want flat scans to steal mutant jobs. I think a fun reaction series in the future would be the Batman from 2004. Possible. Teen Titans from the 2003 version? Yes. What did you think of Deadpool Batman? Oh, I didn't read it. Deadpool versus the Marvel crossover thing? I didn't read it. Sadly. Sorry. One day, I will read it. A non-mutant team of horsemen is crazy, is what I'm saying. They did do that, because I know Sentry was a horseman at some point, but like, come on. What does flat scan mean? It means not a mutant. It's the term that some mutants use in the books to refer to non-mutants. Have Ultron ever fought the X-Men? Not really. Like, he did very recently. But I remember being like, he's not involved in a lot of the Robo-Apocalypse arcs, which is kind of funny. Like, a lot of times, X-Men are dealing with a robot apocalypse, whether it be Sentinels or Nimrod or whatever. There's some sort of robot apocalypse. And Ultron's almost never involved, which is very funny to me. Are you going to do Pride of the X-Men at some point? Yes, but on Patreon. Both Pride of the X-Men and Generation X will be on Patreon, sadly, but I do owe them exclusives because there's almost 1,000 now, which has popped up from like 50 before before the React series started, and I have not been good about posting exclusives. I think I've posted one ever, and it was Hoodwinked, reaction to Hoodwinked 2, and it was before I started my reaction series. I'm surprised Ultron hasn't tried to merge or take over Nimrod and the Sentinels before. It is just a difference in like IP, I think. Like, he's just not an X-Men villain, so he doesn't go over there. How much is the Patreon? $3, I think. It should be $3. Wasn't Warner Bros. Up for sale? It would be possible for more crossovers. The same parent company owns both DC and Marvel. Yeah, no, Disney buying Warner Brothers would be hell on earth. I don't want that. That is just a monopoly. Disney buying Warner Brothers is when we pack it up. I've seen the Hoodwinked thing, though. Hoodwinked 2. What say about Hoodwinked 2? I watched Hundreds of Beavers because of you. You're right. Incredible movie. Thank you. I love that film. Not sure if you're super into Marvel Legends, but you see we're getting a Nimrod figure soon. I did not. I know we're getting Dupe soon, and that makes me happy. Rejoiced 'tis All Hallows Eve for facts. For some reason, your short where you finally realize who Berserker is a short I rewatch a lot. Well, thank you. You always have S tier takes, not gonna lie. Well, thank you very much. Maybe that abandoned baby that got aged up by a guy with peacock tattoos could be a horseman. He needs to do something. Yeah, the peacock tattoo guy, the engineer's son. I heard recently that Netflix wants to buy Warner Bros. Discovery. Of all of possible parent companies, I think I actually would hate that the least. It's like bad for like, you know, movies coming to theaters, but I don't want Paramount to buy them. I really don't want Disney to buy them. Can they not be their own thing? Can I buy them? How much are they? Like a nickel? I feel like I could afford a Warner Brothers. Here's what we do. Everyone send me a nickel, and then I'll sell that. I'll give that to Warner Brothers, and they'll have to give it to me. I'm gonna go dye my hair. Farewell. Okay, well, have fun. I'm pretty sure the dupe figure came out with a maximum Deadpool figure. Well, maybe if we pool our money. This is what I'm saying. Everyone send me a nickel. Allegedly on TikTok, I have almost 1 million followers. So what's 1 million divided by 20? That's how many dollars I can have if everyone sends me a nickel. What is this? It's like 50,000? Maybe? What is 1 million nickels? 1 million times 5. That was the worst way to do that possible, but whatever. Divided by 100, $50,000. That's got to be enough for Warner Brothers. They don't make a lot. Do you have more Blue Curtain videos planned? I do. I keep saying this, but I just got to get ahead in the reaction videos so that I can start making other videos again. But it's been taking me a while, and now the holidays are coming, and maybe next year. Maybe in 2026. You can afford exactly one Warner Brother, maybe a Yakko. It's just the delivery of who in the ever-loving hell is Berserker. Well, thank you. Dang it, you have super chats off. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't. Here, can I change that? Let's see. I don't know what a super chat is, but if I go to customization, live chat, live replay, live chat summary, leaderboard, anybody can join. Live reactions are on. It doesn't say anything about super chats, my friend. Sorry to say. Yeah, none of these settings say super chat. Comments on. Moderation basic. Yeah. If you choose a Marvel DC crossover, who would you choose? I would like to see some of the Magic Universe of DC crossover with the Magic Universe of Marvel. Super Chat is how to give you money. Oh, you don't need to give me money, but I appreciate the offer. All I've wanted from you so far was your Evolution reactions. I probably missed it. What was your first exposure to the X-Men? Honestly, probably Evolution. It's kind of one of those things I feel like I've always known about because, like, the X-Men, the first movie came out when I was born. Evolution came out a year later. Like, it's just kind of always been around in my life. But practically thinking, it must have been Evolution was the first thing I saw. Same on Evolution. There we go. The Magic Sphere of DC is the only part I love more than there in Marvel. I will say this. I am an X-Men fan, then I am a Batman fan, and then I am a Marvel fan, and then I am a DC fan. I got into X-Men through fan fiction. That'll do it. Do you do this full time? Yes. I used to say that I was unemployed, self-employed, but YouTube has kind of changed that a little bit, and now I can actually make good money. Going back to work. I actually got an offer recently, and I was like, well, I'm making enough on YouTube. I want to just pursue this. So now I am self-employed, and so now I am full-time, and it's very scary, and my parents are mad at me. When Rogue absorbed Juggernaut's powers, is she taking some of his magic? Is Juggernaut slightly more stoppable? No. I mean, yes, because he does stop, right? Because she could touch him, and he stopped moving. So I guess yes, actually. Why are we buffering so much? Come on, guys. I don't know if it's my fault. Pretty sure I watched X-Men original animated series, but not consistently. X-Men Evolution was the only one I watched fully. I definitely never saw X-Men 92 until I was in college. I watched it to prepare for X-Men 97. X-Men Evolution and Wolverine the X-Men I saw when I was a kid, and I was so young, I did not realize they were different shows. I also did not realize that they were different continuity than the movies, which made understanding anything about the X-Men very difficult. Could Rogue absorb Thor's worthiness? No. I got into X-Men through an unholy mix of Evolution, Ultimate X-Men, Academy X, and my dad sharing X-Men RPG stories. That's fun. I will say, what's up, Geek Speak podcast? How you guys doing? I've been on that podcast, everyone. What was I gonna say? What is that? Oh yeah. So I got into comics. I think the way a lot of people did when they were my age, at least, is Googling Marvel versus DC and then reading that, and then I got confused and I read Avengers versus X-Men instead, and then it's just been there ever since. Have you ever made yourself make you ever make yourself an OC? If so, what was your mutant power? I guess technically Cobweb was an OC, in which case my mutant power was to make cobwebs. Not like in a sturdy material, just like, little ones that kind of go on something dusty. Um, we're doing well. Josh is at work. This is Sean right now. Seeing Hayes Town tonight. Enjoy. Not gonna lie, I got into X-Men through you. Thank you. Divorced Eric and Charles go Burr, for sure. I'm slowly getting my best friend willing to get into X-Men purely through gender bent art of Gambit. She has a massive crush on Femme Gambit, and I'm trying to tell her the real character is great too. Femme Gambit? Wait, I'm Google this. I'm typing in verbatim Femme Gambit, and we're gonna see what the first thing, if it's not porn, that comes up. Ready? Technically not porn. Femme Gambit. I could see being into this. Truly not a lot of stuff. A lot of Queen's Gambit is coming up. Conjure showed up, which is interesting. Here's a female Gambit. Oop, you guys saw a Patreon notification. It's from someone watching the new X23 episode. Fine. Thank you to all my patrons. Somewhat disappointing reduction in muscle mass. What does that mean? Oh, Gambit. Yes. I thought you meant me. And I was like, what a wild thing to comment. Is there any alternate universe X-Men you like, such as Ultimate? I like a lot of Ultimate. The current Ultimate X-Men, I think, is very good. Queen's Gambit was a cool miniseries. I loved Queen's Gambit, and I also fully thought that was a real woman. I thought that was like a biopic. I was like, this is a crazy story, man. Fully fictional. Your clip on a podcast thing. Your clip on a podcast talking about the Mandarin hurt because he's one of my favorite characters. But I agree, it's a really dumb character that is a regular guy with a dragon alien fetish. One of your favorite characters is Comic Mandarin? That genuinely does surprise me. I have seen, because of that clip, that take come up more, but genuinely, until this moment, I had never met anybody or heard of anybody whose like favorite character in Iron Man was the Mandarin in the books. I've heard there's a good Armored Adventures version. That's interesting. And the Ultimate one wasn't that bad either, but like old-fashioned Mandarin. To each their own. Me possibly being lactose intolerant and eating chocolate. Enjoy. Cobwebs, can't get over it. Was that ever useful in some way? Did he have other powers? No, it was not useful. That was kind of the whole point. Thoughts on Tom King? I liked a lot of Tom King's books. I've not read a ton. He did Elmer Fudd in the DC universe. I've not read Mr. Miracle. It's back there. I've not read Supergirl. It's also back there. There was a while where I saw Tom King at every single convention, and it was like around the pandemic, so the conventions weren't that popular, and so his table was empty, and I just chatted with him, and I would buy a new book every time, and then I would be like, well, I'll read this one day. But I have read some. What have I read of Tom King's? I know I have to have read something. I have so many of his books. This is very embarrassing. Maybe I never read anything. No, I've definitely read something. There's the Looney Tunes one. I'm forgetting something so obvious, and it's bothering me a ton, because I know I read one of the books. Oh, duh, the Marvel one. Vision. I've read Vision, and it was very good. Read your comics. I say with a wall of unread comics, it is very difficult to keep up with these damn things. If you search someone's dusty old house and they wanted to make it look like it was untouched so they couldn't tell you you'd done it, Cobweb would come clutch. Exactly. Clayface movie? I thought it was a show. It's a movie, and it's going to be so good. Armored Adventures Mandarin was the coolest design of Mandarin. I have heard good things about this Mandarin. That is not what I was talking about in that clip. I will also say I got a little bit in trouble. People said I was gatekeeping. I don't think so. We were specifically talking about the comics. Anyway, what was everyone saying here now? Thoughts on DC making a Clayface movie? Oh, big fan. Can't wait for it. To clarify, conceptually, he's one of my favorite characters. That's more so to do with the recent things and other adaptations, if that makes any sense. No, that makes tons of sense. The fuck? Is this thing on? I'm looking forward to whatever the DCU will do with Aquaman. Me too. Clayface is a movie, yes. Why doesn't Kraven hunt the Wolverine? He does his clone does in an X-Force comic recently. I do a similar thing with comic book inker Bill Anderson at my local convention. Every year I bring a book to be signed and buy a couple of his art prints. I now do it with Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. I buy one of their books every year because now I chat them up. They're fun. They were fans of mine actually originally, and I was fans of theirs, so it was very fun. I have their Batman Beyond, all the DC ones. I'm bad at reading. I have their Batman Beyond I still have to read. I think I have their Guardians around here somewhere. I looked at Instagram for 2 seconds and I already saw your clip of Gambit robbing the bird. That's what we want to do, baby. What's an X-Men plot point that was dropped that makes you upset? Mine is the abandoned Krakoa babies who never got brought up again. To be fair, that was never going to get brought up again. It was a crazy thing to establish. Like, to be like, oh, by the way, on Krakoa, they have mutants born. Anyway, like, we were never going to see those babies. I don't know why you would set that up. Could Storm have stopped the volcano on her own? Comics, probably. In this show, absolutely not. I feel like on the podcast, if you said Taskmaster instead of the Mandarin, that would be different conflict. To be fair, in the context of what we're talking about, he's like, we're agreeing. I feel like because it got clipped a certain way, it makes it look more like I was against him in principle, and we're not. I was actually just talking about how much I dislike changing Ultron in the MCU. His point was that Ultron still works in the movie, and there are examples of characters who both are different from the comics and don't work in their own individual movie. He just happened to name someone I disagreed with in that specific context. But the larger premise, like there are many characters I think the MCU did worse than the comics. I have a few Batman comics. I need to get more along with another Justice League comic. I'm trying to get more into DC myself. It's a real struggle. Where's the best place to start getting into X-Men comics? Because I've only seen the movie series and your silly videos. I want to know lore. I would say start at Uncanny X-Men 98. It's not the beginning of the Claremont run, but it's the beginning of the Phoenix saga, which is like run really picks up steam. But I'd say start there. It's got Sentinels. It's everything you'd ever want from an X-Men comic. Until you really either get bored or you hit Uncanny X-Men 276, in which case stop reading and hop to New X-Men in 2001. Is the sound weird to anybody else? I don't know. I can't hear myself, and it's one of the most frustrating things about doing lives on YouTube. All I'm saying is X-Men is hard to get into than Batman. That is, yes. I do think trying to get into Batman as like an ongoing comic is incredibly difficult, but Batman has a lot more standalone books you can read. Like you can read Long Halloween, you can read Dark Knight Returns, you can read Dark Victory or Hush or whatever the fuck you want, you know? X-Men doesn't do the same kind of thing. Kraven, Thor, and Hulk exist, but surely Spider-Man is the most dangerous game. To be fair, he's weirdly obsessed with spiders. And in New X-Men, just from the start, yeah. Well, it's called New 114 because they hate being accessible, but it is the first issue. What about Ultron was changed? That he is the child of Tony instead of Hank. The audio keeps cutting out and going staticky. Why? Oh, you know what? Oh, maybe because I'm playing with the wire. Let me stop twisting the wire in my hands, and maybe the audio will get better. What podcast have you been on so I can watch all of them? Oh, a good amount. I don't even know at this point. Geek Speak podcast, which was just in this chat. I've been on there. The Escape podcast, that's my most recent feature. There's something called The Keeg Show. I do a lot. It's a good friend of mine named Dimitri runs it. He actually is the reason I went to SDCC, and I was going to make an SDCC video, but didn't. And What else have I've been on a lot of like random one-off ones. There was one that was called like Drunk with Buds or something, where the whole concept was you get drunk while you talk, which was crazy because the moment we finished recording, I was wasted. I had like 8 beers or 5 beers, and I got a call that my grandfather had died, and that is completely true. Um, that was a crazy time to learn that information. Uh, but yeah. And then they kind of got mad at me because I never actually advertised that I was on the pod. And to be fair, that makes sense. But also, like, I don't know. I was busy. Um, Craven actually just has arachnophobia and wants to kill Spider-Man for therapy. That is, like, kind of true. Have you seen Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow, the one main character is the movie The Sons of Storm Black Panther? That's the one where they're all the kids, right? Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow. Yeah, next Avengers. Yes. This is going to be spoiler. This is going to be one of the one shots we do when we finish Evolution. I'm planning to do Hulk versus and this one as little specials for the holidays, and then we'll go into the next series. Some people don't regularly smash back a drink and have like normal alcohol tolerance. Oh, I have very low alcohol tolerance. I'll tell you that right now. I used to have higher, but my fiance doesn't really drink. So now like the most I have usually is we split one beer with like dinner or something. And so after several years of only having the occasional half a beer, your alcohol tolerance does decrease. Will you do a Reacts X-Men 97? Maybe. I feel like it's worse because it's so recent and I just saw it and I know everything about it. I might do breakdowns of it closer to season 2 coming out, and then also breakdowns of season 2. But that would again will require me to get a little faster with my reactions editing. Speaking of which, do you know where to get comics / books for free online? Because I am broke like you and I always want to personalize my room like yours. I mean, physical books for free? No. I guess you could steal. I don't advocate stealing, but if you want to like decorate, I don't know where. Yeah, a library, and then again, just don't return it. Physical is harder. There's a lot of options to be fully honest. I'm not going to just say I'm on the internet right now, but if you type in basically any comic book and then read online, you could find the digital copy. I will say, don't. In my opinion, pirating comics is bad only because it's not like a movie or something where everyone already got paid and everyone's like rich and it's fine. And like, what is Warner Brothers really need your $10? But comic creators don't get any money. And also, it's all based on sales. And every parent company would rather end every single comic book than print more. So, especially if all people steal books, like if you're someone who only pirates comic books because it's what you have to do, that's what you have to do, and that's whatever. But then I don't think you can complain if the characters you like are never in a book, because as far as they're concerned, they don't sell. But yeah, that's my hot take. I don't think for comics specifically you should pirate things. Hey, Nikhil, I had a question about last week's episode. Why is Callisto with the Morlocks? I thought the group was mostly for mutants who looked so different they couldn't fit it on the surface. It's never fully explained in the comics. There are allusions that basically like something happened in her past. She got like, sort of lovers, like domestic abuse situation, I think is the implication. But basically it's that she feels ugly. There's a whole arc where she's turned into this like beautiful model and like leaves for a bit. But that's the real thing. So where to read online but you pay? Is there an app? Marvel Unlimited would be the best thing for that. And DC has their own. I think it's called like DC Infinity or something. Marvel Unlimited, I am a full supporter of. It's like $70 right now for a whole year. And it's basically every comic they've ever made. I use it exclusively for like all of my videos. And it works like a charm. And they're high quality too. Some of the pirating sites are like shit. And sometimes the comics are out of order. Marvel Unlimited is great. DC Universe Infinite, thank you. I'm so unexcited for Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, me too. I need Doomsday to be done. I need Doomsday and Secret Wars to be out so I can be excited about the MCU again. Nikhil, I feel like I betrayed you because I don't like Gambit as a character. Messiah Complex ruined him for me. Forgive me. That's okay. Not everyone needs to like Gambit. picked my favorite character and then became synonymous with him, and now I'm like parasocially tied to Gambit forever. But like, yeah, you guys don't have to like him. That's fine, as long as you like him more than Angel. But no, Messiah Complex is not a great turn for Gambit. I think it's interesting when they like reveal that all of that was like Destiny's plan, so he could save Rogue. That was fun. Wish they had delved more into that. But yeah, no. The outfit is also patently ridiculous. There's no defending that, but it is stylish. Why is he your favorite? I like Gambit a lot for two reasons. One is I like the King of Thieves angle. I like that he has the guilds. I like everything about the guilds. I wish there were bigger players in the Marvel scope. And the second is I really appreciate the sort of like, he reads very autistic to me, to be just fully honest. He is mirroring himself on this figure of like the ideal superhero, or like not even superhero, but it's like cool bad boy. And there's a lot of really good lines about the dichotomy of him doing that and then also not being like that at all. I have in my video that's all about him, that's called like How Strong is Gambit Really or something like that, is delves more into the evidence for that. But he is basically just a very angsty boy that's pretending to be his father, genuinely. And I find it very interesting how often he's mirroring other people's perception of what he should act like. Hawks from MJ is an Angel-like character, but I think his power is better from what I know. Angel is just wings. Hawks has the ability to shoot off and control the feathers on his wings. So Angel does get that when he becomes Archangel. That's like the big power up. His wings become metal, and he can shoot them like knives, and I think control them to a certain degree. What's wrong with Angel? Truly nothing. Like, it is just a bit. I find him boring. And I think almost any story that you could tell with the X-Men, you could tell, like, you could sub Angel out for someone cooler, and it would be better. Or at least more interesting. His big thing in the comics is that first, he's rich and sad. Second, his girlfriend died and he's sad, and someone tore his wings out. That's really all you got. A lot of X-Men have much more tragic backstories. A lot of X-Men have much more interesting psychology. Just a purely personal take. I'd read almost a book about anyone other than Angel, and like it more than if Angel was in. No, that's not how to say that. Any book that has Angel in it, I think could be improved with a different character. I think I'd willingly put that on. Who wouldn't you replace Angel with? Colossus, maybe? Even the privilege thing is more interesting through the lens of Xavier, in my opinion. Yes, I agree. But it's also like, they also just don't do a lot with it. Like the movies, I think, make Angel a more interesting character. And I've noticed a lot of the pushback I have gotten from Angel fans are fans of Angel in the movies, where he's more like, his whole story is about being closeted, and his father is like an anti-mutant activist, and like that dichotomy. None of that's in the fucking book. And if it was, maybe he'd be more interesting. But as is, they just don't really go there with him. What flyer would you replace Angel with? Honestly, there's another Angel named Angel Salvatore, who is like more bug than bird. She's fun. Did they have a bigger role in the movies? I only remember the 3 when he was barely a character. No, it's mainly 3. 3 and then Apocalypse. What are your biggest fears for X-Men Doomsday? I just think it's going to be too many people. I'd love to be proven wrong. The Russos are very good at an expanded cast, but I think it's just far too many people. Even the chairs announcement was insane. I was like, everyone's going to get an average of 3 minutes screen time. How do you think I feel? Oh, my favorite character is Guy Gardner. Oh, well, now's a good time to be you. Guy Gardner's stock's never been higher. What do you think of Revelation? I think the idea was interesting as it was presented in the end of Krakoa, where like Apocalypse's way doesn't work. So now we have a new guy who's going to do things a new way. I don't love as much that he's just Apocalypse now. You were the reason I knew the New Mutants movie had released. I thought it just never came out. That's hilarious. I will say I defend that movie more than most people. I don't think it's that bad. I started getting my 6-year-old brother, and I've managed to explain to a 6-year-old the idea of Magneto was right, but executed the wrong way, and that he is an extremist. By the way, his favorite is Remy. Fuck yeah. Remy is a very like 6-year-old boy favorite, to the fact that he was my favorite as a 6-year-old. He's the kind of character that's supposed to be the coolest character in the book. And that's why I think eventually fleshing out what I was saying earlier about how he's like actively trying to be that is what makes him interesting. What do you think about James Gunn's DCU? So far, I think it's very fun. I won't lie, I didn't like Superman as much as most people. I still liked it, though, obviously, but not as much as most. And the Peacemaker finale was a bit of a letdown, though the rest of the season I thought was fantastic. I think even if the Peacemaker finale had just been the season finale, it would have been fine. It being the series finale is crazy to me. Remy is the reason I started learning card tricks. I tried to learn card tricks. I was bad at them. If there's something, check out Rivals. If the rumors of Rogue and Gambit being the next characters added are true, yes, I will go back to Rivals. I'm bad at Rivals. So bad I'm probably not going to stream it because it is frustratingly bad. But I will piss off enough people by being Gambit and insta-locking Gambit just to see what it's like. Opinions on the Lego X Mansion. It looks fun. Have you tried TF2? No, I've not tried TF2. I think my first time I saw your content is a video of you like doing a skit of people spinning a wheel to decide the first class movie roster. I did do that. That's a very fun skit to have ever seen. I think my first time I saw, I just responded to that. Rage bait chat with bad gameplay. I did that. God, the Twitch era was a bad era for me. Whenever I see Gambit now, I just think he looks like he would belong in a DC team blood pack. I could see Gambit in DC. I think he would do well in DC. I miss Marvel meets the MCU. Once we get through Doomsday and Secret Wars, I might do all the new characters. But right now, they just don't. Like, it used to be over 5 years, you'd see an MCU character like 6 times. So there was enough material. Now, like, Shang-Chi showed up 1 time and left. No, actually, I made one for Shang-Chi, but still. I just don't want people to need to watch Peacemaker to understand the DCU. I usually watch the movies with my family, and they really would not like the show. That was my other thing with Peacemaker. Everyone's been like, oh, it's not like Marvel. It's not just cameo heavy. And I was like, but the entire finale was about setting up the next movie. Like, I think it's the same issue. My favorite X-Men character is Wolverine, Wanda, Storm, or Rogue. I can't choose. They're all so good. Every X-Men character slaps. That's the real truth of it at the end of the day. Would you interview James Gunn? Yeah. Absolutely, I would. I will say, I don't think there's much I can say because I had an NDA, but I got very close to doing something very cool with people involved in the actual DCU, and it got canceled because of certain political current events, and bummed me the fuck out. The fact that Abomination has shown up more than Shang-Chi is criminal, and I love the MCU Abomination. It is insane. Earth's Mightiest Heroes was better than the entire Marvel MCU movies, not gonna lie. I do love Earth's Mightiest Heroes. What do you think of the Vig character that they added to Gambit's past? I think it's a bit redundant. It's fun. It's probably the best issue of Uncanny so far, in my opinion. I like seeing Gambit get fleshed out. I think it's a tad redundant to add yet a different crime boss that Gambit was allegedly in debt to. Now we have like 5. I think that just comes down to I don't think Gail Simone's ever read a Gambit comic, and you know what? Sometimes that happens. My biggest beef, genuinely, I like that I like how it plays with Gambit being a mutant and showing that he's known this since he was a kid and what that means to him. I do not like the idea that he actually paid this man up until this point. I feel like that's completely out of character. It would have been better, in my opinion, if the reveal was that he was back in New Orleans and this was a problem because he hadn't paid this man in forever. It's kind of insane to say X-Men and after the massacre and everything like that, this fucking idiot, but whatever. Also, like, the tithe collector, it goes against so much of the guild. It's so weird to me. Like, the tithe collector is a guy who specifically collects tithe off of the guild. The guild has to pay Kandra part of their earnings. It is the entire plot of Gambit's story for like the first 10 years of existing. And it's weird to be like, on top of the tithe, he's also paying a tithe to the vid. I don't know. Why did they make Beast evil? Check out my super long video about that, but he's kind of always been evil. You should watch the Fantasy and Ferb Avengers crossover, maybe for the Patreon. I have never seen it, so actually that is not a bad idea. Will John Constantine ever join the DCU? Surely. Constantine's one of those characters that like they're gonna do something with him. I don't know what, but like he's so popular that they have to do something with him. Even down to like, you remember we have like 2 Constantine Keanu movies? No, we have 1, but he wants to make a second one. Like Keanu wants to come back as Constantine. I don't personally want that, but like they'll do something with Constantine. Wasn't there a crossover where the X-Men went to DC? That yes, where they weren't hated for being born with their powers. I assume they weren't hated, but it's been a long time since I read that. What do you think of the big character they just added to Gambit's past? I just talked about that, Nichols. Come on. I think I lose a bit of my sanity every time I show my little brother something X-themed, and he hates Scott Summers for no reason. Besides, he's boring. I'm sadly like, I promise he's fun. Trust. Show him X-Men Evolution. I feel like he's so good in X-Men Evolution in a way that a young kid would like. I think the second Keanu Constantine movie is in development as an Elseworld of the DCU. Say, the live-action Constantine was so good, he became the de facto voice actor for all things DC animated. They have to bring him in at some point. The show one? I've heard the show's very good. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm lagging real bad and having to skip forward a lot. Well, I'm sorry, guys. That's unfortunate. While we were making requests, Spider-Man the Animated Series Secret Wars multi-part video. I've never seen Spider-Man the Animated Series. He hates Evolution Scott so much, and he loves Angel. I don't know why he's like that. Listen, a lot of kids base their favorite character solely on the power. He likes wings. That's just going to happen sometimes. Scott was always fun to me. He shoots lasers from his eyes constantly. That's cool to anyone. You would think. The Marvel characters entering DC and assuming the Justice League are dictators because people actually like them is so funny. That is hilarious. I got to reread Marvel versus DC. Could you please reiterate the previous statement for the purpose of cognitive assimilation and semantic clarity? I don't know what that's in reference to. I'm sorry. Matt Ryan, he got thrown around all the CW shows because they wanted to give him more to do. Good. Evolution was my intro to the X-Men and most comic stuff, honestly. So seeing you react to the show is so fun and nostalgic. This version of Kurt specifically is one of my favorite X-Men. Absolutely. This is a very good version of Kurt. It's also like the first time an adaptation let Kurt be fun. Because in X-Men 92, he sucks. And in the movies, he's, you know, this was like the first fun Kurt. And everyone liked him because he's supposed to be fun. My favorite X-Men is Banshee because when I was a kid, I saw First Class and got really mad when they killed him off screen. And Days of Future Past, yeah. I don't like Scott only because I don't like the character archetype he's based off of. He's too, if you know Rocky Horror, he is too Brad Masters. I disagree. The lag hurts. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Gummy Cloud. The movies focus way too much on him being emo and Catholic. The sad monkification of Nightcrawler in the 2000s was a fucking shame. To the point he became a priest in the comics. Ridiculous. They kind of wasted every character in the Fox movies. Isn't Kurt only in like 2 episodes of X-Men 92? Yes. He's a guest star as a monk. Why was Emma Frost in First Class? Because they picked these characters by throwing darts at a dartboard. Seriously. What do you feel about MHA if you've seen it? I have never seen it. It's a series I do want to make reactions to. It's just so long, it would take several years. Like, how many episodes of MHA are there? Let's see. How many episodes of MHA are there? 322, which would be divided by 2, 161 of me, and divide that by 2 a week. It would take me 80 weeks, otherwise known as 1.5 years. And that's if I did Monday and Friday every week for a year and a half. No, there isn't. There's like 126. What? Argue with Google. Please no MHA reaction then. This is what I'm saying. I can't. Maybe like on and off again. Just pop in with a little MHA reaction. I like how First Class had the most powerful character that literally couldn't die, and he was the first one to die. To be fair to that, I think the premise of doing that was because First Class was the first prequel they ever did, right? And I think the idea was that they were going to go back and make X-Men 4 and have Darwin in it. Because Darwin's whole thing in the books is that he is introduced, he is retconned into having existed and seemingly having died so that he can give exposition about the mystery in between class of X-Men that no one knows about in the modern day. Like that's his whole bit. Like, surprise Darwin survived is his entire thing. Google gave you chapters of manga. Oh, well, that does change things. That does change things. Well, that's 100, 125, 100, so 150. Yeah, there's like 160 actual episodes. Oh, well, that's much shorter. So 160 divided by 2, that'd be 80, which is still like a year and a half if I only did one a week, which, not bad. What do you think of Kurt and Wanda in a love relationship? Don't need it personally. You ever watch Epithet Erased? No, I have not. For some reason, the X-Men anime was helpful helped me start me like Scott. I am going to react to the X-Men anime after Wolverine and the X-Men, so stay tuned for that. I'm excited. You could start with the first MHA movie, and if you like it, start the show. There's a movie, and it comes first? Also, some of those 160 episodes are just recap clip show episodes. What the fuck, guys? This is why anime is impossible. I'm looking forward to the Teen Titans reaction. Thank you. It should be starting in December. I've been asking a lot of questions, but I want to know, but between the movie Dark Phoenix versus Last Stand, telling of Dark Phoenix, one of the comics, which of those do you like more? Between those two, Dark Phoenix. In terms of like doing the Phoenix story, because Last Stand isn't really the Phoenix, it's like the Cure storyline where they staple a Phoenix in the third act. Dark Phoenix is an attempt at Dark Phoenix. It's just a really weird one. Plus, they have aliens going after Jean, and I feel like doing Dark Phoenix without aliens is crazy. The movies are more canon spin-offs than anime movies typically are. I wouldn't watch the movie first unless you're going to the middle of a status quo. What is the watch order for MHA? This is so frustrating. There's 4 MHA movies, and the first one can be watched with little to no info on the show, but takes place in between season 2 and 3. Well, then I'm not going to start with that if it takes place between season 2 and 3. Since Wolverine and the X-Men is only a single season and Teen Titans is a few, what will be the next show after Wolverine? So Wolverine and the X-Men is only one season, but it is 26 episodes, which is half of what Teen Titans is. So after Wolverine and the X-Men will probably be the X-Men anime and Wolverine anime, and that should be about equal because that's 13 episodes each. So barring having to do, one-offs and like because there's 2-parters or whatever, ideally Wolverine and the X-Men, the 2 animes, and Teen Titans will get us to about June of next year. And then the world's our oyster, man. Who knows what comes after that? There's a Wolverine anime. There is. I'm very excited to get to it. You ever gonna do 90s Spider-Man? Like I said, after June of next year, the world is our oyster. I will probably have to be seeing how well the reactions are still doing, to be fully honest, because they get worse with every video. For a little bit, they were getting better with every video, and that was awesome. But like my one today is like my 10 out of 10 right now in terms of popularity. Can you react to literally everything Marvel and DC? Because I love this. I would love to try. They could fall off, to be honest. This is what I'm saying. So we'll see in June if this is still popping. And if it is, we'll keep moving. And if not, we adapt, improvise, and overcome, my friends. That's just life. If I reacted to MHA, would I watch it subbed or dubbed? Dubbed. I'd have to. if I'm doing a reaction. A Wolverine anything should be cool because Logan is the main character and he's cool. It's very true. It depends on how Gambit coded the videos are, LOL. Hopefully very Gambit coded. Mutant X. That's crazy. I've never heard of that. Good, do dub. See, everyone loves the dub. I usually try to only watch sub in terms of almost anything. I never watched any foreign films growing up, but my partner is very big into Studio Ghibli, so I've been watching a lot of Ghibli movies, but because they've not watched them since they were kids, they want to watch the dubbed version, and it offends me on a spiritual level, but I'm trying to be open. After the stream, I'm going to watch Spirit of Vengeance. Enjoy. I really like your comedy skit. Adam's Family in Gotham was awesome. Thank you very much. Have you ever seen Gen V? I have not. What about The Gifted? I've never seen The Gifted. That's another potential one in terms of like X-Men shows. I'm a little wary of live action. I feel like I'm going to get copyright struck for that more easily. Mutant X was the X-Men TV show Marvel made when they didn't have the rights to X-Men. What? That's crazy. Emma Frost or Jean Grey? Jean Grey. Is the world's our oyster an actual expression, or will I look stupid if I repeat it? It's a real expression. It's usually the world's your oyster, not our oyster, but you can take possession of it. That's fine. After the stream, I'm playing D&D with my family. My character is very Gambit coded now that I think about it. I just realized a thief who plays cards. I've just made Gambit green. Hey, my first D&D character was very Gambit coded too. I don't know if this is your first, but I'm just saying mine was. You asked if Birdo was grounded for Amara to get a spotlight, but I thought he was written out already. He's not, and he actually, because I've seen a lot more of the episodes because I'm editing them now, he shows back up almost immediately. He's just not in that episode. X-Men Generation X was a pilot that was abandoned and is here on YouTube. Generation X is going to be the first Patreon exclusive reaction thing to go out. It's going to be that, and then Pride of the X-Men. You think Thanos could escape the Phantom Zone? Yes. The X-Men in general are very D&D coded, honestly. They are, and there's a book called Excalibur that's like explicitly about that. Dream fan cast for any of the X-Men. Lakeith Stanfield for Gambit. The guy who played Han Solo, that's not Harrison Ford, was my pick for Cyclops for a long time. Yeah. What do we got here? You said you don't care about Kurt and Wanda in a relationship. Oh, wait. You shall see. Ha, ha, ha. Is this a thing? Do Kurt and Wanda have a relationship? I don't understand what we're talking about. Is Rogue being based off Grace Jones true? I don't think so. Let me Google Grace Jones because I think I know what you're confusing this with. Let me Google. Yeah. You're thinking of Dazzler, I believe. Dazzler was originally based on Grace Jones and then transitioned to more of a Bo Derek or something. Yeah, I wish I could show. Oh, I guess I could do it on my phone again. Dazzler, Grace Jones. That's the original Dazzler design. But yeah. I really wish Todd Talansky was in the comics instead of just Mortimer Toynbee. I love his relationship with Kurt in the show. Me too. I'm surprised he's not. Like, it would have been so easy to be like, here's a younger, better Toad that everyone likes. But whoa, what is this? They flirt in Wolverine and the X-Men because their writers were probably fans of Judd Winnick's Exiles, which had Talia Josephine Wagner, aka Nocturne, who was their daughter. Right, Nocturne. That's why we're talking about it. I see. I forgot about Nocturne. That's another universe, though. What non-mutant being a mutant would be better for the character? Mr. Immortal. Will there ever be a Young Justice reaction? Maybe. We'll see how well the Teen Titans one does. Have you ever watched Invincible? I have watched all the way up into that season 2 break they took. What has been your journey starting YouTube? Like, what guy gave you the idea to start your channel and blah, blah, blah? So I've been trying to start YouTube since I was like 12. I used to every single year in the summer, I would try and launch a YouTube channel, and it was me being a little kid and being a little dork. And then this time, it was just because I blew up on TikTok, and I was like, well, maybe I can transition to YouTube, and then it worked. Mr. Mutant Mortal is a mutant unless they changed it. Mr. Immortal, stupidly, in my opinion, is supposed to be the next step beyond a mutant, which does not make sense with any X-Men lore at all. And so I think he should just be an external. I think that would make sense. The externals are already kind of like mutant plus in concept. They're already immortal. They have the same shtick that he does, where if they die, they could just come back to life, strangely. But like they still die. Like Mr. Immortal's whole thing is climbing out of the grave. And I think, yeah, he should just be an external. There's also specifically one external that we don't know who is. And it was supposed to be like Cannonball. People think it's Dazzler. It'd be so funny if it was just Mr. Immortal. I think you scrap the entire concept of the Homo Supreme or whatever the fuck he's called, and you just make him an external. But, yes. Thoughts on Luke Cage? I like Luke Cage. Would you like Moira's powers? No, they seem horrifying. Also, we're actually at an hour in, and I got to do some other stuff today. So, my friends, I have to go, but I love you all, and thank you for watching the episode, and thank you for coming to the live, and I will see you in a week. Adios. I forgot to hit the button.